So one thing that I have been hesitant to do this season in the last year of the 14 playoff is to come out and make a rant or some of the statements I've made in previous years on the show about my thoughts about the committee, my thoughts about the 14 playoff, and going back about a decade now, my thoughts about the BCS. Now, the BCS is it's an afterthought by some people that we know it's not going to come back into the sport. But also, I think the BCS is something that properly utilized a lot of things out there to properly rank teams. The formula's not perfect. The committee definitely ain't perfect. But going away from the BCS, I don't believe was a wise decision for the sport. The committee coming in and adding the human element that many people thought would make things better for the rankings, and it would better decide who would be the teams in the playoff and better decide a national champion. Okay, that thought's there. But one thing I have realized over the past, ever since the committee got into be an actual thing, ever since day one, this was dumb. This was stupid. You're going to have 13 people in a room that decide the fate of the sport, and those people may put their biases aside, but it's hard to find 13 people that view how they rank a whole of college football teams that agree on everything. Now, I understand they may do, hey, who's your number one team? Everybody does everybody puts their number one team on a paper, puts it in a hat. And then you decide, what team gets the most votes? Okay, cool. That's the number one team. I understand all of those things. But one thing I do every single year is look at the BCS, the simulated BCS versus the college football playoff to see the side by side and to see how they differ. And if I agree, I don't believe with the committee right now. And it's not so much the Florida State thing that they're out. It's how they got to that. But the BCS, the simulated BCS, if that was still a thing right now, Michigan would be 1, Washington 2, Alabama 3, Florida State 4, Ohio State would be 7. In the CFP right now, Michigan 1, Washington 2, Texas 3, Alabama 4, Florida State 5, Ohio State 7. So the Buckeyes are in the same spot in both. However, there is a flipping of 2 teams. Well, a few teams now, 3 teams. In the BCS, Alabama is 3, Florida State is 4, Texas is 5. In the CFP, Texas is 3, Alabama 4, Florida State 5. Now, I understand why they put Texas ahead of Alabama. I don't agree with that. I think if they had a rematch, I think Alabama would actually win that game. That's a really good, solid team. Just beat the number 1 team in the country. Just won the SEC championship game. That's a really, really good team. But to tell me that the BCS got it right by putting Florida State in and the committee did not, why was that the case? Well, the chairman of the committee, and I believe that's his official title, ended up saying, hey, Florida State's not the same team without Jordan Travis. And I'm sitting here thinking, did you watch 2014 season? Did you see the CFP? Did you see, I say CFP, not the committee, like college football playoff? And I'm saying this not just from a Buckeye point of view, but just a college football fan. What happened in that season? Beginning of the year, Braxton Miller goes down. So who is playing all year? Your backup quarterback. All of a sudden in the Michigan game, your backup quarterback goes down. You're thrusting into the forefront your third-string quarterback. And what happened? 59-0 Wisconsin win. Buckeyes jump into the playoff. What happened next game? Beat Alabama in the Sugar Bowl. What happened next? You beat Oregon in the national championship with a third-string quarterback. No, the team is not the same. However, they're undefeated. They won. They won a Power 5 conference championship. And you can't penalize a team for an injury. Now, you may say, hey, they may not be one of the 4 best teams. Okay, cool. Like, that's something that you could decide in your head. But to say they're not one of the 4 best teams, but something that's not happening on the field currently when they played the last game the day before, you guys put the rankings out. That is dumb. That is stupid. And I would prefer this sport go back to the BCS, because I do believe the BCS got it more right than the committee did. Go back to the BCS and then add a 12-team playoff, even though I don't think there are ever 12 teams that are ever in the realistic running to be a national champion in this sport. I do believe that is needed because that's a whole lot better rationale and thinking and putting the teams together than this is right now. The number 12 team in both polls is, the number 12 team in, both polls is Oklahoma. Do you think Oklahoma is one of the best teams in the country? No. Do you think they're one of the top 10 teams in the country? No. So no, they don't deserve to be in the running to be in the college football playoff to win a national championship. But it's going to happen one year. It's going to be a year. My dad said it. I told my dad about it. He's like, hey, my dad said, I don't want a team with 3 losses to be a national champion. But what's going to happen eventually? You're going to have a team that has 3 losses that will be a national champion. You're going to have years in a 5-year span where there is a team that has 2 losses that's a national champion. Doesn't sit right with me. Probably doesn't sit right with you. But when the adults in the room can't get things right, you get the mess that is the college football playoff committee. I hope next year they get it better. But I'm losing faith in the committee. I'm losing faith in the process. I don't like the process. I would have much rather preferred the BCS 4 of Michigan, Washington, Alabama, Florida State than the CFP 4 of Michigan, Washington, Texas, Alabama.